What's going on, everyone? So, Brian Windhorst spoke on the Lakers and the Atlanta Hawks potentially working out a trade, particularly for DeAndre Hunter, which I think is funny because technically the Lakers drafted DeAndre Hunter. I ended up shipping him out, but he's sizable, versatile, 3-and-D style wing that could play the 2, play the 3. He's even got the size to play the 4 if you needed to, but kind of more that 2-3 spot. He definitely would be a solid acquisition. He's still young enough to be a piece for now and the foreseeable future. He's a guy that I do think would be a bit of an upgrade. He's not my favorite, right? Like, I like him, but he can be very inconsistent at times. And then even on the defensive side of things, he's not like, it's hard to get him bought in, right? When he's locked in and he's engaged and he's really bought in and he's active on the defensive side, he's actually good defensively. He's actually very good defensively. Problem is getting him to be that possession after possession after possession after possession. You know, you'll see some games or some moments where you're like, boom, there's that defensive stopper, and then the next like 3 sequences, it's just like he's just getting blown by and just kind of being lazy on the defensive end. Now, how much of that is being on the Atlanta Hawks, where if he's on the Lakers and playing alongside guys like Anthony Davis and Jared Vanderbilt and stuff like that, maybe he'll be a little more aggressive. Atlanta looks like they're a team that sooner or later are going to start tearing it down. There were even reports that the Lakers and the Spurs could go get Trae Young right now if they wanted to. Brian Windhorst talked about that and even talked about how the Spurs really could have, like, the Atlanta was very interested, probably because the Spurs have Atlanta's picks, so I'm sure that they'd be very interested. But he also brought up the issue with the Lakers and the Hawks, because we've already been down this road. We've already been down this path of the Lakers trying to acquire Dejounte Murray. And the Lakers, according to Brian Windhorst, truly believed that they were in good position to land Dejounte Murray, that they genuinely thought they were going to land Dejounte Murray. There were reports that it's about as good of a deal as it's going to be, and that it kind of felt like it was a matter of when. There's all these reports about it, and several conversations were had, several conversations were made, and nothing came of it, right? Ultimately, Dejounte Murray ends up going to the New Orleans Pelicans, which, I still am bothered by that. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't go back in time. It's too late. Trade's already done. He's already a Pelican. I was in the camp of, because they wanted Austin Reeves, I was in the camp of you should have traded Austin Reeves for him, right? Like, I like Austin Reeves. I don't believe that you trade Austin Reeves just to trade him, but Dejounte Murray's the better player. And who usually wins trades? The team that gets the better player, right? So going and getting Dejounte Murray, he's a guy that's going to still maintain his trade value. He's a piece that would have helped now and the future, gives you that athleticism, gives you that point of attack. You still have D'Lo that you could go and trade, make other moves. Or if it works out, you keep him, right? D'Lo was so good playing off ball, so good shooting the 3 ball at a high volume. Now he's not your 3rd option anymore. He's your 4th. So the good games you're winning all of them. The bad games aren't as bad because you have Dejounte Murray who go get you, 20 on any given night. I was in the camp of doing that. If the Lakers trade for Hunter, I'm not against it. I probably prefer Jeremy Grant, maybe even Cam Johnson, but I don't think Hunter is a bad alternative. I don't think DeAndre Hunter is a player that I'd be like, what are the Lakers doing? No, I'd be stoked about it. I'd be pumped. Like, let's go get him. And you still probably could do some other moves. Again, it all boils down to cost, right? Now, based on what Dejounte Murray ultimately went for, right? Hunter should not, you shouldn't even be giving up a first for DeAndre Hunter. And I don't think I would give up a first for DeAndre Hunter, right? If you're going to give up a first for Hunter, I'd rather give up the first for Jeremy Grant. I just think Jeremy Grant is more consistent. I think he's also, you kind of know what you're going to get from him. And I just think he's a little more versatile, right? Again, Hunter is fine. He's great. I'm all for it. Once again, it's always Hunter and, right? The Lakers need multiple moves, in my opinion, right? Getting Hunter, I think, makes us better, but I don't think it makes us significantly better. I think if you get a DeAndre Hunter, you need a, Wendell Carter Jr. or a Walker Kessler. Maybe you're getting Clint Capella in the deal too and kind of working that. I know some people hate the idea of Clint Capella. I don't hate it because it gets off a salary. So there's two ways that it works if you go and trade for Clint Capella. One, it works great, and you're re-signing him not to $20 million a year, but say $10 million a year, right? Sign him to a Valanciunas deal, 3 years, $30 million, something like that, right? Boom. If it doesn't work, he's a $20 million expiring contract. You could either trade him at the trade deadline if you wanted to, or you just let the money fall off the books. LeBron James could restructure his deal, and now you're in a position to where you have all this cap space, right? Like, I don't hate the idea of bringing in a Clint Capella. The Lakers need a center, period. And playing alongside LeBron and AD, can Clint Capella kind of get back to a version of himself? Obviously, he's not the same player he was, Houston days. But he's still one of the better offensive rebounders. He's an excellent offensive rebounder. And he still can block shots and do the things that the Lakers need, right? So, I don't hate the idea. And you're just looking for him to be a backup anyway, right? You're just looking for him just to come in and play 15, 20 minutes on any given night. There's going to be the occasional night where, AD gets the night off and you're having him kind of slot in and fill that role. But I think he'd be fine, right? And then if you're getting Hunter too, now I think you're talking, because now I think you got that 3-and-D versatile, sizable wing that can play 2 through 4 really. Then you got Clint Capella, who can start, come off the bench, you can do whatever you need him to do, help with the rebounding, help with defense, particularly at the rim. Again, he's not the shot blocker he once was, but he still has, I think, something left in the tank, right? So again, to me, it boils down to what ends up becoming available, what are the costs, what do you have to give up player-wise, right? If they're like, hey, to me, I'd be looking at it as Hunter, we're doing you a service, right? He's not on some $20 million expiring contract, right? He's a guy that you're going to take on several seasons, right? So to me, if you can get him for a reasonable price and maybe even leverage, hey, we'll also take a Clint Capella, or we'll also do this, or we'll also do that. Right now, I think, you could potentially make the deal make more sense for both Atlanta and you, right? And they got a bunch of young guys. Because you look at Hunter, right? This season he's set to make 21, we'll round up, say 22 million, because remember, the Lakers have to go over. Making 22 million this year. Then he makes 23 and then 25, hair under 25, right? So you're talking, 70 million in salary that you're still going to have to pay him out, right? That should have some value via the trade. It's the same thing with Jeremy Grant. At least Hunter's only 20 million as opposed to 30, and it starts getting crazy, right? At least Hunter tops out at 25 million. He's kind of on that LeBron AD timeline, so he can kind of be you can either let him expire and everybody falls off the books, or you can use him as a trade chip later on down the road. Now you got this $20+ million contract. I don't hate the idea of DeAndre Hunter. Problem is, again, it's just the Lakers and the Hawks kind of gone down this road. Now, some people are going to look at it, and I've seen it when I've talked about Trey or various other Atlanta pieces, right? Why would Atlanta want to trade with the Lakers when Atlanta owns the Lakers pick? Because the Lakers pick is not DeAndre Hunter isn't the difference in the Lakers going from a lottery pick to now the 30th pick, right? Lakers are probably a top 17, probably 17 to 19 range again, they have been the last 5 years. So they're probably in that. They're not going to be a lottery team unless the wheels start falling off, which, knock on wood, hopefully doesn't happen. So if you're Atlanta, you're do you really care? Okay, so we're going to get instead of the 17th pick, we're getting the 19th pick if we trade Hunter. It's not something that, if the Lakers pick was a lottery, oh man, if we trade Hunter to the Lakers, man, they go from, potential top 5 pick to 15th pick at worst, then yeah, I could see them being nah, we're not doing that. But for them to just basically like, okay, I mean, Lakers could still finish the same, right? Like, I mean, like Hunter isn't a guy that's like, I think it'll make us better, but he's not a guy that's making us like exponentially better. He's not a guy that's like, oh, Lakers just got Kevin Durant, right? Like, like Trey, okay, maybe you could argue that, right? But also it depends on how much does Atlanta value the Lakers picks, right? Like, do they value the Lakers' long-term picks and go, you know what? Do the Lakers maybe work something out to try to get that pick back, right? Maybe you get Hunter and this year's first in exchange for like a future first, right? Because maybe Atlanta's like, we'd rather have a first, later on down the road. Like, what if you could get this year's coming up pick, get Capella, and you could get Hunter, right? Because that's $40 million in salary between Capella and Hunter. Let's call it $45 million, because again, the Lakers have to get over the cap. Plus, they're giving up multiple pieces, so you also need to do that. So let's say you send out $45 million, right? Okay, like you're doing like what? D'Lo, Rui, there's $35 million, like Gabe Vincent. So you're trading those three for Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter, and then you could sign, a Jordan Goodwin. There you go. Boom. Solves that problem. Maybe you get back this year's first and trade a future first in the deal, right? Like maybe Atlanta's like, hey, we'd prefer, your 2029 pick because we think you're going to be terrible then. Where right now, like, we don't really care about the 20th pick, right? But you could also argue Atlanta's trying to, like, rebuild right now. So I don't know. I don't think that Atlanta owning the Lakers pick is the difference between them keeping $70 million or not, right? Like, again, like Atlanta's going to be like, oh, we got to keep the Lakers pick because it probably top 20. And yeah, but we could move off of $70 million in salary, right? Like we could take on guys, and Rui maybe makes more sense, right? Like we have Bogdanovich and, Riza Shea and all these guys now. So there's not really a need for Hunter the way that there was. Like, oh, no. Like, I just don't think that's the difference. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. We'll see. I think it's more of just like, can Atlanta and the Lakers actually get a deal done is the thing. And that's kind of where Brian Windhorst seems to be at as well, right? We've been down this road with Atlanta. Is Atlanta actually finally going to be willing to kind of pull the trigger on it? We'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of DeAndre Hunter to the Lakers? Do you think, like, yes, but you got to get Capella too? Do you think, no, stay away from Capella? Again, I just like Capella because he's an expiring contract, so it gives you flexibility, right, via a trade or clear off salary, right? Because now you'd have, you're taking on Hunter's money, but you'd have essentially D'Lo's money still falling off the books, actually a little more, right? So I don't think that's a terrible idea, personally. But again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.